Hi, everyone. Today we are going to go over your study guide, Chapter 17, Section 1, Part 2, which just means that it's from pages 2, 3, and 4 in your online textbook. I hope everybody is doing well, and I hope you're staying safe and 6 feet apart. I hope your families are all healthy, and I miss you guys a lot. I hope you're doing well at home. I see that most of you are keeping up with your classwork, and I'm super proud of all of you guys for sticking with it at home. So let's take a look at how many of these I can get in our first little video here. For number 1, it says feudalism is a social and economic system based on a strict hierarchy. Hierarchy is just a system for ranking something. In this case, we're ranking it into order of who has the most power, who has the most wealth. So the person at the top is, of course, the person who has the most power and the most wealth. There's a certain hierarchy probably in your household. I'm not sure where you are in that hierarchy. Are you at the top? Are you in the middle? Or are you in the bottom? Let's take a look at number 2, true, false, or opinion. This one is true. A lord can be a king, a prince, a knight, or a clergyman. This is where the phrase my lord comes from. When someone addresses somebody in medieval times, they say, yes, my lord. A lord is just somebody who is in charge, somebody who is socially above you in the hierarchy, and typically somebody with some authority. Number 3, vassals. So as you can see, there's 3 of them highlighted here. A vassal used a portion of his lord's land, and he taxed the peasants who worked on the land. A vassal promised to be loyal and to fight for his lord, and he did that in exchange for the land that he received from his lord. A vassal could become a lord if he gave some of his land to his knights. So you could be a vassal and you could also be a lord. You can get land from your king or whoever is higher above you, but you can give some of that land out. And typically, lords would divide up their land and give that out to their knights. And their knights would then have the peasants work that land. So here is your social pyramid. You should be familiar with these by now. The king and queen are at the top. The nobles and the church officials would be second. Church officials means people that are higher up in the church, meaning bishops and people who were in charge of large areas of churches. The church held a lot of power in medieval times, as you know. And knights were here, letter C. And then, as you can see from this chart, this is the largest group, and these would be the peasants or serfs. Those words aren't interchangeable. They mean 2 different things, but mostly they're people who work the land. That's all you need to know right now. That made up the vast majority of the population. These were people who were poor, who didn't own any land, but they were the ones who were expected to work the land. If we move down here to the next one, this just explains each of these different social classes. So the first is the king, rules over all of the land, gave his fiefs out or his pieces of land to the nobles in exchange for them protecting him in a time of warfare. All the land still always remained the king's land, but the lords are the ones who would control it for him and make sure the taxes were being paid. Up next are the nobles and the church officials. These are people who, as we just said, controlled the fiefs. They were trying to gain more land, typically for the kingdom. They would defend their land and keep it as part of the kingdom. And the clergy, which was also in this category, were those church officials who were devoted to the life of the church. Then you have your knights, which I'm sure you're familiar with, very similar to the samurai. They were professional soldiers. They were loyal to their lord. Their main job was to protect their lord and their lord's land. From a very young age, they learned certain skills to become a knight. Then you had peasants who were at the bottom. Those were the ones who worked the land for their lord. They lived in very crude huts, slept on straw, ate very simple food. We're going to stop there with this at this section because I'm running out of time, and I'll post a second video for the second half. All right, see you in a bit.